Yavapai Broadcasting and the City of Cottonwood proudly present Inside Cottonwood, an inside look at the decisions and issues of the City of Cottonwood. Brought to you by Arizona Smile Designers.
Hello, Happy New Year, and welcome to Inside Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Edition. First day of the new year for us to do our taping, and with me today I have Mr. Ryan Bigelow, Recreation Program Supervisor, and we're here just to wish you guys a Happy New Year, especially all of you people out there who use our Recreation Center, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome, Ryan.
Thanks for having me. Ryan,
looks like you had a rough night last night, out a little late. Not rough night, but I heard you went to a pretty prestigious event. What happened last night?
I got back about 1 o'clock from the Fiesta Bowl last night, so I've been a long-time Oregon Duck football fan, so it was a good night to be a Duck last night, and had a great time, and here I am bright and early.
That's fantastic. Thanks for coming up this morning. I know It's a little early, and we appreciate it. What I want to do today with you is we haven't had a segment on the Recreation Center in a while, and I know that myself and yourself, we got a few queries and comments and questions about why we were recently closed during November. And I'd like to start with that and then segue into some other things that are upcoming. But could you just give the audience a little background as to why the Recreation Center was closed in November for a week, and exactly how long was it closed for?
Sure. We closed down for 8 days over the Thanksgiving holiday break. We've done that. This is our second year doing that now. We've noticed in our first year that numbers significantly drop over the holiday. Families are in town. People are getting ready for big dinners and whatnot, and so the Recreation Center kind of drops off. So we figured during that period of time, while our numbers are down, we would take advantage and do some maintenance, some cleaning. We actually were able to lay down some new tile this year, so looks great, and just make sure that we are keeping up to date on that facility. So it's not just good for use now, it's going to be good for use 10, 15, 20 years from now.
Yeah, I like to use the center quite a bit myself, and I'm always, you're always wondering why it was closed for so long. If you're a diehard and you like to, work out daily and things like that. But like you said, when we ran the figures 2 years ago, I believe that we have a 25% drop-off during that week of Thanksgiving, just because people are traveling in there with their families and things like that. So it's never a good time to be closed, but if you got to be closed, you might as well pick the time when it's not peak usage, and it's definitely not peak usage over the no Thanksgiving holidays.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the tile. That was a pretty big project. I know we put quite a substantial amount of taxpayer money into that, and it does look fantastic. But being said, I know there were a lot of other things that we did in the Recreation Center. Can you expound on a few more of those?
Yeah, we were able to, and what we like to do, and I think why we started doing this, was to drain that pool. We've got an outstanding indoor pool facility, but you gotta take that water. We use a Defender system, which actually reuses the water, so we're cutting down on our water usage. But over a period of time, we need to make sure and clean that out, get down with our toothbrushes and our hands and knees and get to the bottom of that pool and make sure everything's in that pool is nice and clean and safe for everybody to use. We also like to do preventative maintenance on our gym equipment. We've got all those treadmills, all those ellipticals. They all need to see some general maintenance. We take a look at the windows. The windows, as you know, we have a lot of windows at our facility. That can be quite a job. And of course, the tiling. If anybody's been to the rec center recently, it's the first thing you notice when you come in. We were getting high usage, especially in the rainfall in the summers, where those high traffic areas were getting grimy. We were having to pay a lot of extra money to have shampooings, so it just becomes a nicer surface for us to use that tile up front there.
The job in itself sounds pretty extensive, the tile job. How long did it take? Because I know we got some comments, I can remember one, and it said, that it could have been done in 48 hours. Yeah. So I mean, how long did the tile job actually take?
Well, we had the picture window, a local company there to install the tile. We think they did an excellent job, but they were there pretty much the entire week. I'm no tile expert myself, but I saw the guys there almost every day, and it was a week-long project for them.
That's great. You mentioned the foot traffic. You mentioned the shampooing. I think it's important to point out to the audience and the individuals who use the recreation center that we were getting the carpet cleaned something like 26 times a year?
It's nearly 26 times a year.
Was there a cost that you know? That
which breaks down to approximately $800 a cleaning, and do the math. We were spending a lot of money doing stuff like that. And just from overall appearance, the tile is easier to clean, it looks cleaner, it looks nicer, and that's your first step into the place. We want to make a good impression, and that's what we hope to do.
Well, I think we did that. It looks really good. Like you said, I hope everyone who uses the recreation center is also pleased with the way the tile job turned out. Do you have any idea how many square footage of tile that we put in?
You know what? We did about 1,600 square feet of tile, so it's covering a vast amount of our space. We even went over, I guess I should mention our new vending machines. We got some new vending machines put in. We put some tiling in over there because that's also a high traffic area. Those new vending machines are becoming very, very popular, and I know that they're new systems which can take credit cards. They can take $20 bills. That alleviates a lot of pressure off of our front desk staff who are constantly having to go over there and work on people's snacks, give them change, so on and so forth. So I think we also made another really good improvement to the recreation center by adding some new vending machines.
That's fantastic. You mentioned the pool area, and you mentioned how we clean the pool area. We drained the pool, and then you talked a little bit about the Defender system. Who did that work in the pool area? Did we contract it out, or did just in-house staff do it?
You know what? We've got a head lifeguard named Jack Teal, who takes a lot of personal pride in how that pool looks and how that pool is running. And he gets in there and does a lot of the dirty work himself. So he's a highly talented and highly motivated young individual who gets in there and gets on his hands and knees and gets dirty.
That's fantastic, and Jack does do a heck of a job. I know he got some help from our maintenance staff as well, and we had some part-time staff in there helping him. Just off the top of your head, you talked about the Defender system, how it's self-enclosed and how it mitigates the amount of water, because pools use a lot of water. We live in the desert. So from that perspective, it makes a lot of sense. But I know a lot of people might ask, well, how many gallons of water does the pool actually hold?
Well, the indoor pool facility there that you're looking at is approximately 65,000 gallons of water. You know, it may seem like a simple process to drain and fill back up, but you know, we've got draining rules that we have to abide by, and there's also, it takes approximately a day and a half just to refill the pool itself. You know, you think, you know, well, just drain the pool and put the water back in, but 65,000 gallons of water is an awful lot of water, and it's going to take some time to do that.
And that's what I think is interesting to point out as well. I mean, because when you backwash a pool, I mean, you're flushing anywhere from 400 to 1,000 gallons, depending on how long you backwash it. And with this system being enclosed as it is, you're just recirculating the water and you're treating it internally.
Correct.
So that over the course of the year, since we only drain once, maybe twice a year, there is a huge cost savings there as it pertains to the water. So you said it took a day and a half to fill it back up.
A day and a half to fill back up, and like I said, just the draining process alone can take some time, and there are rules and regulations that we need to follow to do that. So
absolutely. I also noticed you guys are selling coffee now. Why is that?
We got a lot of coffee lovers at the rec center, and I think since day one, our morning people have been coming in saying, hey, can I get myself a cup of coffee in here? And they've been hounding us, and we were able to, along with those new vending machines, get a nice little coffee maker and espresso maker in there. So for those caffeine people, you know, the rec center is now a place you can come work out and get yourself a cup of coffee.
That's fantastic, and I know I've taken advantage of it on more than one occasion.
As have I, and only $1. So
it's only $1.
Not a bad deal, and it beats the heck out of Starbucks.
That's for sure. Speaking of coffee, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a quick break right now, and I'm going to go get myself a cup. And when we come back, we'll continue talking about the Recreation Center. Once again, thanks for being here. I know you didn't get in late last night.
Hello, everybody. I am Lou Ann Patterson. My family and I would like to welcome you to the Copper Star Indoor Shooting Range, Northern Arizona's premier shooting sports facility. We offer a 25-yard pistol range, a 50-yard archery range, and Arizona's only 100-yard indoor rifle range. In addition, we have a full-line gun shop as well as an archery pro shop. Come check us out. We're located at Highway 260 and Cherry Road, right next to Out of Africa. Looking forward to seeing you all.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Edition. Jason Little, Recreation Manager here with Mr. Ryan Bigelow, the Program Supervisor. Wishing you guys all a Happy New Year, and thanks for tuning in this morning. It's good to have you. We're talking about the Cottonwood Recreation Center, the reasons it was closed, and a menagerie of other things that we're going to discuss here as we go on. Ryan, we were recently talking about the closure and a lot of the things we had done, the tile, you mentioned that. You mentioned cleaning the pool and the facility essentially from top to bottom. I noticed that they also cleaned the carpets too, and that's a lot of square footage. How much?
Yeah, that's a whole nother project in itself. And you know, we go down this list of things, and you say, man, why was it closed for a week? And it's just pool, carpets, tile. I mean, everything that goes on. There's about 25,000 square feet of carpets that needed to be cleaned. And you know, I understand, and like you talked about earlier, we've got some really hardcore and people that we rely on for that facility that want to be there every day. But these are, I think we feel like these are necessary closures to have, because like we talked about, it's not just for this year, it's not just for next year. We want to stay on top of that maintenance and make sure we have a clean facility for people of this community and people who are visiting to come in and say, wow, what a nice facility. Part of being in such a nice facility is having a clean facility.
Exactly, and it's not quite like your annual physical that you have to go to the doctor and take. When you come to the Recreation Center, you're coming because you want to be there. And I think that we kind of come from the standpoint that if it's open and inviting, that's just another incentive to be there. It adds to the aura of, you know, the Recreation Center. And you talked about the machines and how we did some basic preventative maintenance. Just for those people who might be interested, can you break down that preventative maintenance a little bit, exactly what we did on those machines?
You know, a lot of those machines have belts. You know, there's a lot of electronics involved on those machines. We just want to go open them up, even if we haven't had any issues with them. Just make sure that you know, the dust that gets in there, things that happen over a year, are not going to end up affecting the machine a couple of weeks down the road. You know, that is one of the things that we have is when something does go down on those machines, we have vendors that we are contracted through that come from Phoenix. So whether we like it or not, sometimes it takes a few days for those people to get up here. So good quality preventative maintenance will help us, and those times where we don't have to be down waiting a couple of days, waiting for somebody from Phoenix to come up. So like I said, just looking at the belts, looking at opening those things up, making sure we're all clean on the inside too.
And from an aesthetic perspective, what I also like is that you guys do a lot of reupholstery. Just because the curl machines and a lot of machines, depending on, you know, the angle of usage and things like that, it really digs into it. And that's something that we also have to stay up on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we get a lot of people using those machines, and which is a good thing. But there's going to be some wear and tear on them, and you got to reupholster a lot of those machines, especially when you're coming in doing the curls. You know, people digging those elbows in there and whatnot. But that's another good thing. That means people are using it.
Now, you mentioned the vending machines. You briefly touched upon that. These machines aren't quite like the other machines you see in other places. What makes these machines stand out from a normal vending machine? I mean, these are like the Cadillac.
Yeah, these are. We haven't had any issues as of yet, but these are supposed to be the top of the line, not having any problems getting refunds, not having any problems accepting any monies. This is supposed to be the creme de la creme, if you will, of the vending machines. And we also have a nice healthy variety in there too. I don't know if how many people were using the vending machines prior, but I think they'll be much happier with the healthy variety of snacks and foods that they can have, you know, just to re-energize after their workout. Or, you know, we have a lot of teens use the facility as well, and I know that they enjoy having a nice snack before they go play basketball or something like that. So.
And you and I always openly discuss problems that we've had up at the front desk. It was always getting change. Why won't a machine take my credit card?
Yeah.
These machines, I guess, they take credit cards.
Credit cards, 20s. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing is that when you have the ability this day and age to take a card, we have a lot of people carrying those, we don't have to have people come try to break change, make change at the front desk. That's just another thing that we can take off of their hands, and hopefully the machines take care of themselves.
And you mentioned that now we don't have to give refunds for product because the machines, I think they're called SureVend machines, and I think the way that works is they'll recirculate so many times, 3 times or whatever, and if you don't get your product, you're going to get your money back. And that was a huge seller on that too. And you also mentioned that the windows were cleaned.
Windows were cleaned. Like I said, we got a lot of windows. Took about 2.5 days to do the entire window project. Guys up on ladders and up way up in the air. A job that I don't envy. So they did that, and you know, also while I'm thinking about it, the parking lot was restriped. So we've got nice new lines out there in the parking lot. Everybody can see where they're supposed to be parking. And overall, you know, from outside to inside, I think the facility just looks a lot better.
I like the lines a lot too. We were getting some concerns from patrons, I mean, just because of people not quite being in the lines, and I understand that was no small job either. I think we have, how many stalls, 200 something? 200,
approximately 200 parking stalls there, including the back parking lot and the front parking lot. So, you know, and it looks like people liked what we did.
Sounds like a lot's going on at the Recreation Center. New Year, every December you always run a 10% discount. And do we have any preliminary figures as to how that was received by the public?
Yes, we did a lot better than we did last year. I don't have the exact numbers, but we are up in memberships. The whole fall, the whole month of December, we were up in usages pretty significantly. So I think it says a lot about what we're doing there, and I think it says a lot about people making this part of their lifestyle now. This is a part of their routine. This is a part of their everyday. It's not just a fad. It's not just January 1st to January 10th thing anymore. It's all year. They're making their health a priority, and it's overall helping this entire community.
It's not about just making it a workout. It's making it your lifestyle.
Correct.
That's what a colleague once told me.
That's a good line. It's a great line.
Speaking of that, Ryan, let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and segue in and take a break. And when we come back, we'll finish up talking about some other things going on in the Recreation Center pertaining to programs and some other things that we have going on.
Great. Thanks.
Having a fire escape plan is very important to keep your family safe and together in the event of a fire. When you awake to the sound of a smoke detector and smoke in your room, don't stand straight up. Carefully roll off your bed and stay low under the smoke. If your door is shut, feel the door with the back of your hand. Slowly open the door if no heat is felt. Always stay low until you get to the outside of your home. Always have 2 ways out of your house and a specified meeting place somewhere outside your home. Home escape plans should be drawn up and rehearsed on a regular basis. This could be the difference between life and death if caught in a fire.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Edition, the show that keeps you in the know of everything happening here in the Verde Valley and your community. With me today I have Ryan Bigelow, Recreation Program Supervisor, and we just wrapped up a segment, more or less, on everything that went on while the Recreation Center was closed for 8 days and what new, current, and prospective members can expect when they come down and visit the Recreation Center. The Recreation Center, they also pride itself, along with City Council, on giving back to the community. In December, that's a month where we really put a lot of emphasis on a lot of different programs within the Recreation Center. I guess the largest, we have 2 large ones, and I was just wondering how they went, Ryan. That would be a Toys for Tots and the Angel Tree Project.
Yes, again, we hosted the Toys for Tots event. The Marines put that on. Our local Cottonwood, City of Cottonwood Fire Department gets heavily involved in that, and then it's hosted there at the rec center. Some 600 kids are able to get toys via the Toys for Tots program, Verde Valley Toys for Tots program. Members of the community are constantly and consistently donating toys. We pile all those toys into the Recreation Center. Santa makes an appearance, and we do cookies and juices, and those kids are able to, those that are less fortunate kids are able to come in and get a toy that they were probably not going to be able to get during the holiday season. And that's one of those things that our staff is really happy to do. We are really happy to be involved in that program because we can see those smiles on those kids' faces after they get that bike or that new ball. And it's a really rewarding and well put on program. Chris Vogler does a great job with that, and like I said, the City Cottonwood Fire Department gets heavily involved, and they do a great job as well.
That's fantastic. It sounds like you had a lot going on in December.
There was a lot going on in December. Not only the Toys for Tots, but like you said, the Angel Tree. We are able to put up a tree there at the rec center. We get about 50 kids' names or 50 kids' information. We have our members step up. They take a child's name or information, go out, get them a clothing item, a toy, bring that back. The Cottonwood Youth Commission is able to put that together, wrap some of those presents, and again, for about 50 more kids, hopefully it's a little bit of a merrier Christmas for them.
That's fantastic. Ryan, in addition to oversight of front desk, staff, game room, child care, you're also over the recreation programs. Basketball practices start in December. How'd that shape up? Is everyone happy? Are they kind of settled into their practice slots and things like that?
Yeah, things are going really well in basketball. We've got a lot of returning coaches. Again, these volunteer coaches are really the heart of the program. A lot of people who understand what we're about. Learning those fundamentals, getting those kids out there, and having a good time. So we did the Jamboree on December 15th. Went over really well. Kids out there having a lot of fun, and they're able to get back to practice here starting up next week. And then our first games will be on Saturday, January 12th. So coaches and kids getting geared up and ready to go.
So ready or not, next Saturday's the day.
Next Saturday's the day. I know that comes up fast, especially if you're a coach. You think that's awfully quick, but those kids are going to be ready, and it'll be a good week.
I know that the last time we discussed youth basketball, you were still looking for 10 to 14-year-old girls. Did you find enough to put together a league for those girls, or are they just going to do something different?
What we're going to do right now is we've got enough. We've had the opportunity to, Sandra Grandy is going to step up, take all the girls that we have, get them practicing, get them started. We are still recruiting, so if anybody out there knows 10 to 14-year-old girls, they can still sign up. Unfortunately, this ends up being fairly common, but we want those girls to come out there. We want to be able to get those numbers, so when we get them to see Art Matsubayas over there at the high school, he's got the numbers he's looking for. So tell them all to come out. It's a fun league. You don't have to have played before. You know, we're not looking at developing all varsity basketball players. It gives the girls a nice social, fun activity for them to do 3 hours a week, not terribly time consuming, but gets them off the couch, gives them something to do, and hopefully they learn basketball and have fun doing it.
How many teams do you have this year? How many did you end up with?
Another good showing from our kids. We got 17 teams as of right now, so you know, it's a good number. We've got those little Mighty Mites out there. You know, those are always fun to watch. Those kids are a riot. But they're learning stuff too. I love to watch them. The improvement from week 1 to week 7. Nothing like it in those Mighty Mites kids. So again, good numbers. A lot of returning players. A lot of returning coaches. Should be a good quality league.
Now I know recently January 1st came up. We had revised the hours, and how did we go about just letting all of the members know that we revised those hours, and just to make sure everyone knew? And what were those hours?
You know, we looked at some of the numbers for our holidays. You know, it's not anything besides a numbers game at that point. You know, if we don't have people using the facility, it doesn't make sense for us to open the building, run the electricity, run the water. I mean, it goes on and on. Staff the facility if nobody's going to be in there. So we took a look, and we found that you know, Easter, Mother's Day, and New Year's Day, we were going to move them from 8 to 5 to 10 to 2. Send out. We have a nice system where we can send out email blasts and email everybody. Let them know what our new hours are, what they can expect. We were making sure we had good signage around the recreation center to let them know of these adjusted holiday hours. So seemed to run over pretty smooth. You know, especially year 1, you're going to have some people fall through the cracks, but as we get going and people know what to expect, it should go over well, and I think overall it did.
Well, Ryan, we're rapidly running out of time. Just some things I would like to also mention is this is the last day of our winter break program. So for any of you parents out there today who need to drop their kids off at the recreation center, they can. It will be open from 8 to 5 today. You can drop your child off and we can watch them. And that goes for any school-related break, spring break, summer break, and things like that. There are various camps that you can enroll your child in. It sounded like I said, Ryan, December was extremely busy. In about 1 minute, can you tell us what January has in store for us?
In 1 minute. January, we've got Looking Good Cottonwood, of course, the weight loss and health program where people get involved, try to make it a competition, but more importantly, learn healthy lifestyle habits. So we can register for the Looking Good Cottonwood program. We've got adult co-ed volleyball registration coming up. And of course, the Brian Mickelson Memorial Marathon, Half Marathon, 10K, and 2-mile registration will be up and going. We had over 600 register last year. We're looking for more of the same this year. So, and of course, January is always busy at the rec center. Hopefully we're getting those, not the January 1 to January 10, we're getting those year-round people coming back and continuing to use the facility.
Well, Ryan, I know we're extremely busy. Thanks for joining us today. Like you said, it's not about a workout. It's all about change of lifestyle. It's January 1st. We're not looking for people to sign up from January 1st and quit January 10th.
Yep.
Make it a lifestyle. Once again, thanks for joining us, and thank you all for tuning in.